right, welcome everyone. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Dr. Stacy here. So excited you decided to join us this evening or catch that replay. I am joined by the fantastic Dr. John Harmon, and I'm going to share some information about him again here in just a minute. But before I do, I want to really quickly kick us off with letting you know that I am not a medical doctor. Dr. Harmon is not a medical doctor. We are not your doctors. If you have any questions in regards to your health, your medications, pregnant nursing, any of those things, children, please check with your healthcare practitioner. They will be able to give you the best advice. With the information that we're sharing tonight is for informational purposes only. Dr. Harmon has a fantastic PowerPoint for you all. So much information. So get ready to take a lot of really good notes. And of course, this is recorded, so it will be played immediately after on my YouTube channel, and Dr. Harmon will have it up on his as well too. So the information we're going to be sharing tonight is about LifeWave. LifeWave is a 20-year-old company. This company was founded by David Schmidt, the inventor, the owner, the CEO of our incredible technology. And so again, the information we're sharing here tonight is information that is for your use, your discretion, whatever you feel necessary. I myself have been using this technology for 3.5 years. I know Dr. Harmon's been using it for probably close to 5 years now. And so I want to tell you just a little bit about him. He is married to Carla. That's his, most important thing. Of course, we all love Carla, right? He is a father of 8 children and of his own and 2 stepchildren. Grandfather of, you ready for this? 26 grandchildren. 26. Woo! He speaks fluent German. This presentation will not be in German, though, but that would be fantastic if you could do one in German. I think that would be amazing. Bachelor of Science degree in Human Biology. He attended the University of Utah from 93 to 83 to 86, 93, 83 to 86, graduated at summa cum laude with a Doctor of Chiropractic degree from the Los Angeles College of Chiropractic in 1989. Board certified in quantitative EEG and neurofeedback, ICP, which is an IASIS certified practitioner, president and founder of Clear Mind, Idaho. He is a presidential director. Congratulations on that new promotion there in LifeWave, Dr. Harmon. He played the drums in a rock band starting in junior high school through college. If you've ever seen him on any of the theme nights, he is all into the rock attire for LifeWave, which is amazing. And most importantly, the most important thing you need to know about Dr. Harmon, he is the marbles champion of his elementary school. So, Dr. Harmon, take it away, marbles champion.
Dankeschön. Ich kann sehr gutes reines Deutsch. Oh, it's in English. Sorry about that. Thank you, Stacy, for that introduction. I so much enjoy our friendship and our relationship. I have so much respect for you and have from the very beginning. You were one of the ones who wanted, along with me, who wanted everyone to know about this technology, and we dug a little deeper, and hopefully, everybody in LifeWave can glean from the podcasts and the books and everything, so that they get a deep conviction about the patches. We all hear a lot of testimonials, and we see those, we hear those. And when we back that up with a little bit of, it doesn't have to be really complex, a little bit of science, now we come with even more authenticity because we have both. And that was my intention from writing the books. We're going to talk about that. I have to do a little bit of an introduction. Some of the slides you've already seen if you were here last time, but we had a little glitch in my OneDrive. It wouldn't save automatically my macro-enabled PowerPoint. And so when I went to do the presentation last time, I got in the middle of the PowerPoint and I went, oh my gosh, some of my slides are gone. So I'm redoing the whole thing because we don't want it to be segmented. So we're going to do it, but I have so much more that you'll want to listen to coming up about particularly epitalon and its effect on circadian rhythm, sleep, hormone balancing, and all of those things. So stay tuned. As you know, we have the conference coming up. I'm going to do a little screen share here. I have a little slide towards the end. I've had some books shipped to the hotel, and people who want to get them after you see what's going, the information from them. Oh, Stacy's holding them up. You can, there's an email address that you can email and you can reserve one or both. All right, here we go.
Yes, I highly recommend you get both books. If you do not have them yet, get them.
You will be hearing a lot about both of them tonight. See if this will, there we go. I think it's going to start. This presentation has some very important message for every single person on this call, every single person who will see it, your family, your neighbors, everyone. There are very destructive processes happening in our bodies that are causing us to age faster and die younger. Tonight, you are going to get some options. It's our goal in LifeWave to help people opt out of the disease management system we have in our country and to opt in to a better way of helping the body be the best it can be and just take care of business on its own rather than needing help from drugs. Why do people take drugs? Their body's not doing something it's supposed to be doing. And so, medicine is supposed to tweak it a little bit so that it picks up the slack or kicks its butt so it'll work. We seek to do this without the need. Let's just get the body so it just takes care of business. She mentioned, I am Dr. John Harmon. I am president and founder of Clear Mind, Idaho in Meridian, Idaho. That's the chiropractor in me. That's the board certified neurofeedback, QEEG. ISS certified practitioner is the type of neurofeedback that I do, and I'm on the board of that company. Tonight, we are going to talk all about how to reverse aging, not just the book, but literally how to reverse aging. But I have to tell you, we're not just talking about, getting older like these people here. They're pretty, far along in their age. We're not just talking about that. We're not just talking about going from fast aging to slow aging either. We're talking about reverse aging. It is possible to actually turn back the clock on a lot of these things that happen to our bodies, and you don't have to go into the slide of decline and frailty. I want to tell you, everything from this PowerPoint is taken from my books. The first one was How to Reverse Aging, a comprehensive guide to copper peptide. There is a QR code. You can scan it and get more information. I'm going to show this again at the end if you miss it. The second book, The Reverse Aging Power of Epitalin, and that is about the peptide that gets elevated in the blood when you wear the Alavita patch. The natural form's called epithalamin. The form that the research was done was the synthetic form, the synthesized form. It's the same 4 amino acids as epithalamin. Just a little bit from the first book. The only thing I'm going to read to you tonight. The use of copper, this is from the GHK book. The use of copper peptides can be likened to turning a key and unlocking a realm of possibilities where aging is no longer considered an inevitable decline, but a continuation of life with sustained health and vitality. It suggests a future where aging gracefully isn't just about isn't just about managing our normal decline, but about thriving well into our golden years and enjoying our maintained state of health and life experience. You'll find that on page 275 of the first book. When I said everything's coming from the book, everything from the book came from the research. You can do this. You can go to National Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health, PubMed. You'll see 13 pages of research papers that were written about the GHK. Dr. Lauren Picard, you'll see his name up first, and then down here, he is the one who discovered it way back in 1973. Started doing a lot of research in 1977. Here's just a quote from the second book. The potential applications of epitalin offer a previously unseen promising future in longevity and anti-aging therapy. Its ability to address various aspects of aging, from cellular health to metabolic balance, from sleep regulation to skin vitality, from eye protection to skeletal strength, paints a comprehensive picture of what the future may hold. This peptide represents a shift towards more holistic and integrative health solutions, moving beyond symptomatic treatment to address underlying causes of aging. You'll find that on page 211. In the first book, there are 91 references to the research. In this book, there are 97. Same thing. Interesting, there are 13 pages in PubMed about each of these. This is epitalin. You can go there yourself. The research on that started in 2000. This slide kind of describes what we're going to be talking about. Everybody's going to have something happen. We're going to have an illness, an accident, emotional trauma. Lots of things can happen, but it's not that things are going to happen to us. It's how prepared are we for them? We start up here with robustness. Something happens, it kicks our hiney. We drop down. It's what happens here, determined by how prepared you were, whether or not we get back up to robustness or we just recover to here. Something else happens, and now we're in pre-frailty. We didn't recover, and now we get down and our body takes a hit, and then we get into dependence and disability. And the screen seems to be stuck. There we go. I want to ask you for a minute to think about the goals you've had in your life. You know, we all make goals. Marriage, how many kids, where are we going to live? What am I going to work? Where am I going to work? What do I really like to do? Where are my passions? Where's my joy? Am I going to be someone who works out? What's my diet going to be like? Am I going to include fast food in that? But have you truly thought about your latter years? What is life going to be for you when you get there? It's important that you plan it out and be very conscious about it and prophylactic about it. Have you really projected that out? You can design your older years. So I really hope to spark some new parts of your brain to really start thinking about this and how you can prepare to have the healthiest you can have. So I want you to look into the crystal ball. I want you to design your older years, and there's a little bit of a pause in each one of these slides, and I really want you to ponder each question. What will I be like when I'm old in age? Will I even remember who I am? Will I be meeting a new person in my house every 15 minutes? Or will I be able to travel? Will I be hooked up to machines? Will my joints hurt without pain? Will I be dependent on someone else for my care? Or will I be independent and able to take care of myself? Will I be a passive observer in my own decline, or will I be an empowered participant avoiding the decline? Which do you choose? What are the destructive mechanisms that cause our bodies to age faster? Can we do anything about those things? Some things are beyond our control. That is true, and we can't influence them. We're going to focus on the things that you can influence tonight. Why do we age faster? What are the actual mechanisms that cause some people to age faster, look much older than their age, and die prematurely? Here are the top causes of early death. Number one, telomere shortening. What are those? Those are the little caps on the end of our genes. It's kind of a throwaway part or a placeholder, kind of. When our chromosomes separate and need to divide to make a new cell, there's this little part. If we didn't have those, we would lose some of the genetic information. So it's been provided that we don't, and we just lose a little bit. They don't actually look rounded like this, but this compares healthy to age, a pretty older person. You can actually go into a lab and have your telomeres measured, and they can tell you about how much longer you have, absent doing things like what I'm going to tell you about tonight. This sequence of the bases that make up our genetic information, the double helix strand here, does not occur in the normal genetic strand, and that's why they can measure them, because they just measure how many segments have this sequence. So the telomeres hold our genes together, and when we divide and replicate, we lose a little bit of length. The other thing related to our genes are genomic instability. This causes mutations and early death in our cells. They're damaged, they can't do their job. And this is how it happens. We can get exposed to chemicals, we can be exposed to radiation, we can be exposed to metabolic processes in our body. That's why we have a urinary tract and a bowel, to get rid of the stuff that's going to kill us. If it stays in our body, we have to get rid of it. So in order to, and if we don't, if we get exposed to these things, then our genes can mutate. They can be damaged. Harmful things in the world or the body can damage the gene, and the cell eventually dies. So what does the research say about the GHK copper peptide and how it affects our telomeres in our genes? The GHK copper peptide resets 4,200 of our genes, so about a third, to a younger state. And this has to do with how it repairs the damage that occurs every day. You know, life happens, and we have stress, and we have get exposed to things. Well, the GHK copper peptide repairs 4,200 of those, and that's actually my opinion is why some people notice. I call them one patch wonders that they get such a positive effect instantly, and all of a sudden they can do something they weren't able to do. And I think the reason is that because the genes that weren't working instantly or really rapidly get repaired, and then that gene can start working again. So the GHK protects genes against sun damage, radiation, and chemicals that we just talked about. And it also assists in lengthening the telomeres, not to an abnormal length, just restoring what was lost. So we have normal genes, we get damaged, they get altered. In comes the GHK. Genes reset to a normal state, a younger you. Sounds like a commercial. Put this lotion on, you'll have a younger you. What does the research say about epitalin and how it affects our genes? This is the slide. This is a set of slides that got left out last time. And it's one of the most important things. Okay, there we go. How does epitalin affect our telomeres? Among the most notable attributes of epitalin is its potential to activate telomerase, an enzyme that repairs and extends the length of our telomeres. What else does it do? The increase in telomerase productivity activated by epitalin could effectively slow down this shortening process, thereby potentially slowing down, and I got to move the, sorry, I had to move a little thing out of the way down at the bottom, slowing down the biological aging process. I couldn't see that. All right, next of the top causes that cause us to age faster and die younger, mitochondrial dysfunction. We have about 70 trillion cells in our body. Each one of those cells has about 2,000 mitochondria. Most of your body is mitochondria. It makes the gas, so to speak, so we can go. It makes ATP. And if you don't make it, you can't your body can't function, your cells can't work. This is how it works. If you get mitochondrial dysfunction, you got low energy, so cells don't have the energy to be a perfect little cell. The cells can't detox. The cellular damage occurs. These cells will either die or they will become zombie cells. That means they're not doing any work. You have a kidney cell and it don't have enough energy to work. Now I need you to feed me, but I'm not going to do anything for you. Those are zombie cells. It's a real thing. It's not just a nickname. Toxins get stored because the cell can't detox because it didn't have enough energy. Where's it going to store it? It's going to put it in the fat, our fat tissue, our liver, our kidneys, our brain has to store it. More damage occurred. This leads to either apoptosis or zombie cells. So what does the research say about GHK and mitochondrial dysfunction, mitochondrial function? The GHK copper peptide is a key component of the last phase of making energy in the mitochondria. It enhances an enzyme called cytochrome C in that process of making your energy. It also enhances oxygenation during exercise. This is why so many athletes love it. What does the research say about epitalin and mitochondrial function? Epitalin has been shown to enhance mitochondrial function, potentially increasing energy production and reducing oxidative stress. This effect could have broad implications for cellular health and longevity. Why? We just showed on that slide. If the cells can detox better, they're going to be better cells. They're not going to become zombie cells. So for health and longevity, as well as for the function of tissues and organs throughout the body. Next topic, cognitive decline. This is what I talk to people about all day long. And we have people come in from with all kinds of disorders, from anxiety, depression, seizures, tremor, cognitive decline, autism, and on and on. Research shows we lose, this is not a very comforting thought, by the way, we lose about 9,000 neurons per day. Starts at about the age of 30. We only replace somewhere between 2,500 to 2,000. I've heard as high as 4,500, but it's somewhere around there. It's kind of hard to count, billions and billions of cells. So I ask people every day, what are you doing to decrease the loss? And what are you doing to increase the growth of new neurons? It's all dependent upon where it says activation and metabolic rate. That means, are you doing new things to increase the production of new neurons? One of the things I tell my team, if you want to change your brain, if you're right-handed, get up, first thing, brush your teeth with your left hand. Then you're telling your body, holy cow, something's different. She just gets up, goes to the bathroom, stares at her phone and scrolls through email. I don't need to do anything different. What is this? She's using her left hand. Hey, we got to make some new neurons here. After you brush your teeth with your left hand, if you're right-handed, then say about 20 I love yous, looking yourself in the eye, and then take about 50 deep breaths in and out. Start your day a little bit different than you're normally used to. The GHK copper peptide brain study. Yes, there was a study done using the X39 for 6 weeks, and it measured this: EEG, coherence, electroencephalogram. It is a measurement of how well the two analogous lobes are talking to each other, like the frontal lobes, the temporal lobes. There's a certain amount of traffic going back and forth between lobes. If it gets too jammed up, it's like a traffic jam on the highway, on the freeways at 5 o'clock, or if it's not enough, then that's not good either. And so what they did is measure this interaction and communication between brain sites. Coherence, Normal coherence is just enough of that traffic. That's normal, just right. Hypercoherence is when the brain isn't functioning in an efficient, interdependent fashion. There's too much crosstalk and everything's all jammed up. So this would be, hypercoherence would be too much. Hypocoherence is not enough. And that's an indication of cognitive decline. This is directly from the study that was done. It's in your back office. This is let me orient you where it says session 1. This would be the nose. This is the top of the brain, and all of this red is hypercoherence. Brain is locked up, things just aren't moving. And you see at week 3, you see a lot more evenness side to side, and then at week 6, a lot better balanced brain. Now it's not perfect, but it was only 6 weeks. Second one, every single site, every single part of this brain is locked up in hypercoherence. Then at 3 weeks, then at 6 weeks. Again, it's 6 weeks. It's not totally perfect, but this person is thinking a lot better and able to pay attention a lot better. This is brain on fire right there. That's what we call it in our industry. Again, the third one, you see how it's smoothed out over time. What does the research say about the role of GHK regarding the brain? The GHK copper peptide starts the entire process. Now, when our brain needs to make something like neurons, synapses, and neurotransmitters, it has to have copper in order to do that. It is the GHK copper peptide that transports it across the blood-brain barrier. And that stuff that your brain makes when you're doing new tasks, like getting up or brushing your teeth with your left hand if you're right-handed, it's called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. When you do something new and you do it every day, your brain makes decisions. She's done this every day now for so many days, for at least a minute. She's probably going to want to do it again. Let's make some new neurons to help her make it do, or better, to be able to do it better. That's BDNF. It reduces edema if there's an injury. So most of a lot of the damage when you have head trauma or spinal trauma is caused from the swelling, not from the injury itself. My nephew went on his senior trip to Hawaii. He has 4 kids now. This is when he was in high school, just graduated from high school. But he and his buddies went running into the beach, into the water at Waikiki, dove over a wave, hit a sandbar, instantly paralyzed from the neck down. A mile away is the world's best spinal trauma hospital. They pumped him full of steroids. He has a normal life now. He took him about 2 months to regain everything. GHK has mood stabilizing properties in the brain. What else about the GHK? Beneficially altered expression of human genes involved in neuron function by 50%. How important is this as we get older and lose 9,000 neurons a day? Alleviated neuronal apoptosis in intracerebral hemorrhage. Let me translate. It prevented more cells from dying. And those are the important neurons in the brain. Anti-anxiety, that's GHK. What does the research say about the role of epitalin regarding the brain? Epitalin and brain health. Epitalin was found to regulate the function of the pineal gland, the retina, and the brain. Key areas involved in cognitive processes, including memory, which we're going to dive a little deeper in when I get to sleep. Epitalin and brain health. Epitalin has a positive effect on our visual health by promoting, this is key, retinal stem cells to engage in neuronal differentiation. I have to tell you, I do not wear glasses anymore. My vision When I drive, it used to be far vision used to be really blurry. Your experience may be different, but that's been mine. I've been using these for 4.5 years. This could support cognitive health as the retina is an integral part of the central nervous system in relation to the brain. Epitalon and brain health. Due to the connection between retinal degradation and an increased risk for cognitive decay, the promotion of retinal integrity can mean improved brain function and enhanced cognitive soundness. Direct quotes from the research. The implication of this research on memory improvement are significant. By potentially regulating the gene expression related to neuronal function and protection, epitalon could help maintain synaptic plasticity. I'll translate in a second, which is crucial for memory formation and retention. Synaptic plasticity means, hey, she learned something new today. Let's make new neurons. Oh, she learned something else related to that. Let's connect that with that. Let's give it some context and some sequencing. Yep, she did that after that after that. Let's make it so she can do that better. That's synaptic plasticity. And that's what making more of the 9,000 neurons a day that you lose in replacing them. This is why we help people increase their GHK copper peptide and epitalon at Clearmind, Idaho. Okay, sleep and circadian rhythm. These are all brand new slides. Not enough or too much of sleep. You see the exclamation right there? Because I really want to emphasize sleep, getting restorative sleep. The foundation for several critical functions like memory consolidation, detoxification of the brain and body, regulating our metabolic functions, our hormonal balance, and restoring the body overnight. Sleep. There are 5 1.5-hour sleep cycles. A very important growth hormone known as human growth hormone, aka somatotropin, is released during the sleep stage, the deep sleep stage, deep sleep. It's only one phase that you have to go through in order for this to happen. This is a protein hormone that plays a crucial role in human development. What is HGH? One of the functions of this hormone is to maintain the firmness and elasticity of our skin by promoting the production of collagen. This is the skin connection with Alavita. It can help delay the visual signs of aging. Where does it show up first? It shows up in our skin. Our body undergoes numerous repair processes, including those related to our cardiovascular system. The heart and blood vessels are repaired and restored during sleep, with an exclamation mark. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to increased risk of cardiovascular disease and hypertension. By the way, say a word about hypertension. They tell you, you really need to stay away from salt because it's bad for you. There was a study done by Tel Aviv University in 2016. 500,000 people were monitored and recorded how much salt they took in every day. Guess what? The people who had the highest salt intake had the best blood pressure measurements. It was going to be published in, I'll think of the name in a minute, very popular journal. And the American Heart Association got wind that it was going to be published, and they put pressure on the publication and said, we're going to withdraw our funding if you publish that. Now, why would they do that? I'm not going to say, but what's the first thing, if you have an ambulance come to your house, what's the first thing they do? They hook you up to a saline bag that has 900 milligrams of salt in it. If you have high blood pressure and you're at risk of a stroke, They give you 2 bags, 1,800 milligrams of salt. So that's all I'm going to say about that. A little side information for you. Sleep. Sleep is important in maintaining a healthy balance of the hormones which regulate our feelings of hunger and satiety. A lack of sleep, and this is the connection when people say, you know, I used the Alavita and I used the the X39, and I lost 50 pounds. How did that happen? Here it is, folks. A lack of sleep can disrupt the balance of these two hormones called ghrelin and leptin and override other signals. This can cause us to sense that we are hungry, although we are full, and it leads to overeating, unhealthy snacking, increased weight gain, and it's associated with health risks. Sleep. I had to say that. Sleep plays a central role in our cognitive function and the health of our brain. When we sleep, the brain goes through a cleanup process where harmful toxins accumulated through the day are cleared out. Encoded memories are strengthened and integrated into long-term storage during sleep, prominently during the slow wave phase. Got to make sure somebody's not texting me from the Zoom because to make sure that it's still going. My phone is blown up. Okay. Encoded memories during the slow wave phase, the slow phase. If this doesn't happen, if somebody's got really poor sleep and only sleeping a couple hours a night, false memories can be stored. And you won't store the memories of the things that you actually did. And this is what it looks like. I'm sure glad John came over last night. Mom, John didn't come over. Yes, he did. I saw him. That's a false memory. This is how memories are stored. We do things during the day, learning new things or the same things. Sequencing and encoding happens. So your brain puts things in sequence. This happened after this, after this, after this. If it was strongly emotional, it is intensified in the amygdala. This is why we remember things that were really emotional better than we do things that weren't emotional, like, you know, the color of a car or something. That's, you know, maybe. Memory consolidation in deep sleep phases, long-term storage, complete memory. That's how it goes down. Sleep in the immune system. The immune system releases specific proteins called cytokines, which helped promote sleep and combat infection or inflammation. Improved sleep, facilitated by epitalin or the natural form epithalamin, could lead to a stronger immune response, increasing our resistance to diseases and infections. How poor sleep affects aging. I already mentioned it. Most visible effects are seen in the skin. Collagen breaks down and we get transepidermal water loss when we're not sleeping. That's why people, you know, who don't sleep, they look really old really quickly, unfortunately. Now, to tie this all in, talked about sleep, what happens during sleep, what happens if we don't get good sleep. Now we're going to talk about what's called circadian rhythm. Internal body clock that regulates the sleep-awake cycle. The system is designed to regulate feelings of sleepiness and wakefulness over a 24-hour period. Primary role is release certain hormones. This is the hormone connection between epitalin or Alavita, how it affects our hormones, because we had our circadian rhythm got regulated. And so then our hormones started to balance out. It's not like we took a vitamin for this hormone and a supplement and an herb for this one, and then this, and then an adrenal thing and this. And we didn't do that. It plays a crucial role in regulating our eating habits and digestion. Our bodies are designed to eat during the day and rest at night, and that is our circadian rhythm. That's why it affects our hormones so greatly when we don't get sleep, and then we get weight gain. Helps to regulate body temperature, lowest in the morning, highest in the early afternoon. Disrupting this rhythm Like eating late at night when it's supposed to go when the circadian rhythm says it's time to go to sleep and not eat, ultimately leads to metabolic disorders like obesity and type 2 diabetes. This is from me to you, and I tell my patients this every day. Please note, it is essential to allow 3 hours after you finish eating, before you go to sleep or bed. Otherwise, you will not go through the 5 1.5 hour sleep cycles. Your circadian rhythm will be adversely affected, and you will not have the normal beneficial effects on the balancing of your hormones, detoxing your brain and body, or any of the other benefits that we just talked about. Epitalin or epithalamin stimulates the pineal gland, enhancing its ability to produce melatonin. Here comes the sleep connection. Ding, 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 ding. This can help us fall asleep quicker, experience fewer awakenings or wakings during the night, and result in a more restorative, deep sleep, and go into the 5 1.5 hour sleep cycles. May help reset the circadian rhythm by activating the release of melatonin, and thereby ensure optimal timing of the release of hormones to promote better hormone balance. This is why Alavita affects our hormones. Functions of epithalamin can potentially reduce the risk of various health issues like hypertension, kidney disease, and immune-related diseases, not because it cures them and not because it's a medicine, it's because it helps you get restorative sleep, and then your circadian rhythm goes into normal phases, and then your hormones get balanced. Helps to support our cognitive function and emotional health and contribute to a more stable, positive mood. Anybody gets depressed if you're not sleeping. That's what part of postpartum depression is. I would get depressed if I was getting awakened every 3 hours to feed an infant. Next topic, stem cell exhaustion. We lose our ability to replace cells that are dying or turned into zombie cells. What does the research say about the role of GHK regarding stem cells? Well, it activates the production of pluripotent stem cells. I don't know what happened there. Direct stem cells towards damaged tissue. It acts like a homing device. Activates genes associated. It actually turns on the genes that tell your body to make more stem cells. It kickstarts that whole regenerative potential of the stem cells. Cardiovascular disease, stroke. We already talked about that. Get more salt in your body. Celtic salt, Himalayan salt and Celtic salt are good. Celtic salt has 2 more minerals than Himalayan salt. Don't just use table salt. That's Dr. John talking to you. Cardiovascular disease, #1 cause globally. High fibrinogen level is the #1 predictor of probability of having a stroke, and you're 2.5 times more likely to have a stroke if this is elevated. Fibrinogen is what makes your red blood cells sticky. You have to have a little bit, or if you get a cut, you'll just keep bleeding. You have to be able to clot. But if you get too much of it, it will clot when you don't need to clot, and it's inside of a little tiny capillary or a big vessel. Then that's, by the way, is bad. Decreased oxygen to the heart, that's myocardial infarction. Decreased oxygen to the heart muscle. We're going to talk about GHK's role in that as well. What does the research say about this? GHK in heart health keeps fibrinogen synthesis levels normal. It influences a gene that's involved in telling the body to make fibrinogen, and it helps regulate it so you don't make too much. Increases myostatin gene expression. Myostatin actually inhibits heart failure. So there's 2 things, check, check. I capitalize this. Helps new blood vessels form to promote proper circulation. This is the connection. When you have, whether it's in your skeletal muscle, like you're working out, you get that burn in your quads. Oh my gosh, what is that? Well, that tells your brain to send out GHK. It goes, hey, there's not enough oxygen down there. We need some GHK to poke some holes in the muscle so it can we can grow more capillaries in there. So that's the connection. The GHK is involved in doing that. Well, how does that affect your heart? If you don't have enough oxygen to your heart, it would be a good thing to make more blood flow in there. The GHK is what does that. GHK helps prevent blood from clotting too much, helps create collagen and elastin. Our blood vessels are made of that. If you have strong blood vessels that are elastic, you're probably not going to get an aneurysm, and you're probably not going to have high blood pressure because your vessels can expand and contract rather than just your heart pumps, and they don't expand to accommodate the increased flow and volume, and the pressure goes up. Helps to prevent oxidation of LDL, decreases the risk of atherosclerosis. We can talk about that another time. 6-week organ function study with X39. When I read this, I was oddly attracted to it, and it had, it was very pertinent to what was going on with me that I did not know about. A 6-week study, they did all kinds of measurement on the cardiovascular systems, and they showed that after 6 weeks of using the X39, the cardiovascular systems acted 2 months younger. So I did the math, and I said, for every day you wear the patch, the cardiovascular system gets a day and a third younger, because that's the math in that study. The research about cardiovascular health in epitalin, a study titled Geroprotective Effect of Epithalamin in Elderly Subjects with Accelerated Aging. It was a 12-year randomized clinical trial on elderly patients with coronary disease and accelerated cardiovascular aging. The study found that long-term treatment with epithalamin decreased the functional age and degree of cardiovascular aging and increased exercise tolerance. How huge is that for elderly people? Notably, after 12 years, the mortality rate was 28% lower in the group treated with epithalamin compared to the control group. Moreover, cardiovascular mortality was 2 times lower in the epithalamin treated group. I'll say it again. How huge is that for elderly? How huge is it to do it in advance of becoming elderly? If you didn't know the answer, I'll give you the answer. It's huge, just in case you didn't know. Cancer. Number 2 killer globally. The incidence is rapidly increasing. What does the research say about GHK and cancer? Just want you to know I'm not making claims about cancer, but this is what the research says. It's not my opinion. GHK resets programmed cellular death in several different types of cancers. My friend down the street from my office, we used to be in the same clinic. He does alternative cancer care. He wrote the book. It's called A Better Way to Treat Cancer. He uses GHK infusions as part of his protocol because of the anti-cancer properties. Inhibits 25 genes that are associated with a predisposition to get cancer. So some people, luck of the draw, they have some genes that predispose them to get it. The GHK inhibits 25 of those genes. Helps repair DNA so cancers don't form. So if we go back to the genomic instability, if you have mutations, they can mutate into cancer cells. The GHK helps repair our genes so that that doesn't occur. What does the research say about the role of epithalamin in cancer? Epithalamin, same thing, anti-cancer properties appear to hinge on its influence over the activity of the enzyme telomerase, because telomerase doesn't just lengthen, it helps maintain length and prevent, well, I'll just go ahead and read it. It is suggested that epitalin inhibits the rampant cell division characteristic of cancer cells by regulating telomerase activity, thereby limiting the unwarranted elongation of telomeres. This action, in turn, prevents the cells from becoming immortal and uncontrollably proliferative. This is not Dr. Harmon's opinion. This is from the research. I want to reiterate that because I'm not making claims about this. This is what research shows. However, while doing so, epitalin also ensures the longevity of telomeres in normal cells, thus promoting their health and proper function. So it basically regulates the length of the telomeres. A long-term study with mice showed that it suppressed the development, this is epitalin, the development of breast adenocarcinomas, slows the aging process, and thereby slowing the development of age-related diseases such as cancer, cardiovascular disease, and neurodegenerative diseases. Another study showed suppression of spontaneous tumor development. So all in all, dang, those are some pretty awesome functions of these things that have been shown in the research. Well, the clock is ticking. That reminds me of my Uncle Vinny. That one little line, that one little scene, my biological clock keeps ticking, ticking. Those who are older will know who did that. So how do we get GHK copper peptide? We get them in infusions, injections. One of my directors, she and her husband own a company called MedMasters. They train doctors how to do infusions, injections, and treatments, and ozone and PRP and exosomes and all those things. And she was giving herself infusions, and when she just found out she could wear a patch, and she said, I hate giving myself injections with GHK. It stings so bad. Or the X39 phototherapy patch. So we're talking about this new technology, X39, and how does this thing work? Any potential of the patch can be determined by what the literature and the studies say about the effect and actions of the GHK. Because you know what? The patch does one thing. It signals the body to make more GHK. Well, just turn to the literature. What does a GHK copper peptide do? If you don't have the books, you're missing out, because you can turn open to a page when somebody asks you a question about stuff. This is the study. This is how they did it. It was a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled study. They wore the patch for a week. They did measurements from blood tests over that week. And this study was what was used for LifeWave to get the patent on this technology. So if somebody says, I heard there's nothing in the patch, it's just a waste of time, then you can just say, well, I guess, man, LifeWave, they really fooled the US Patent Office, didn't they? What? Yeah, the study, yeah, you know where to go from there. Here's the process. 60 people, a tube of blood, more blood at 24 hours and 7 days. Significant increase in GHK was found compared to the control group. How do they work? They're made of nanocrystals. There really is something in there, but it just doesn't go into you. It activates your own stem cells. Because it's formulated to elevate copper peptide. So what happens? We put it on our body, just like when we go out in the sun. We have nano antennas in our skin, trillions of them. They get excited by the frequency of UVB. It sends a signal to your body to start up your vitamin D factory. It's the only vitamin we don't have to get in our diet. We actually make it. That's how important it is. Same nano antennas. It's how we get GHK. I'm comparing it to diamonds. These are clear diamonds with bright light shining on them. What the heck are all these colors? Well, the facets of the diamond separate out or refract out into individual wavelengths the different colors that are in white light. You just can't see it. Well, our bodies actually glow. And this is what is used by the patch to power the patch. It's this energy that we emit into our surroundings. David Schmidt figured out a way to use the human body as the power source for these patches. So it basically reflects back, it separates out a specific frequency, it goes back into you. Same nano antennas, different message, like a different radio station. You have to change the channel, And now you get a different result, and that is the activation of the GHK copper peptide. We put them on these specific points recommended by the company because that's where they did the research. And it does all kinds of things when you put it on. Whether it's the X39 or the Alavita, so there's a lot of crossover between these. You can get with the person who invited you to this to watch this, and you can get a lot more information about that. 12 hours on, 12 hours out. Why do we do that? People ask me that all the time. Well, our bodies stop responding after about 12 hours to any light therapy. I have lasers in my office, and the protocol may be 2 minutes. I could leave it on for an hour and they wouldn't get any more benefit from the 2 minutes because the bucket is full. It's like, I'm used to it. I don't need it anymore. I got enough. Then you take it off for 12, put it back on. Athletes all over the world are using these. This is the world's strongest man right here. Football players, bowlers, all kinds of athletes. And I know there's some really famous professional football teams. Someone on my team is working with another famous football team. I won't mention who it is. The first patches were worn in the 2004 Winter Olympics when Michael Phelps and our U.S. men's swim team won all those medals. They got accused of doping, but the World and U.S. Doping Agency said there's not. This is a fingertip that was cut off. The surgeon, it was a 6-year-old, the surgeon refused to sew it on, said it's going to die. The dad said, I have this patch. I'll take responsibility. It died. That's what this is. This is the black of necrosis. But remember when I said GHK helps rapidly grow capillaries into tissues that are lacking oxygen? That's exactly what happened. And the fingertip reattached. It didn't regrow, it reattached. You can see a little dent in the fingernail right there, but man, this is something. Skin, look at this right here, the age spot. It's not, they have nothing to do with the liver, by the way. It has to do with melanin, too much melanin. And you can see that the skin just tightened up on this guy. This is a friend of mine. He had a Mohs procedure here. Look at this right here. That's almost totally disappeared, and you can't even tell where that was. You can go to I'm not going to do it now, but you can go to startx39now.com. You can see a lot of before and afters, the research papers, some videos, some testimonials. Go there, and you can get a lot more information than this presentation right here. Also, the results, we talked about this stuff already, but here it is in one screen. You can take a picture of it when you watch this on the replay. Really quick, when I said I was oddly attracted to the organ function study, this is my testimonial. My big testimonial was I did not know that I had what's called a right bundle branch block. If you don't know, look it up. All-cause mortality goes up if you have one. Here I didn't know. And this is my point with a lot of people when they say, well, I'm going to use them for a month and see how they work for me. And I say, well, I didn't notice anything for 4.5 months, and I didn't even know I had a right bundle branch block. Documented it on a stress EKG, and then 1.5 years later, it was gone. This is the timeline right here. I'll just go through this really quick. I first noticed I had PVCs when I was in high school. Yes, I graduated in 72. That's a long time ago. I know. April, I started using the patches, 2020. August, PVCs got really weird. I thought something really bad was happening. It wasn't. Because of that, I had a first stress echo cardiogram done that showed this is the first time in August of 2020 that I even knew I had one of those. 2 weeks later, PVCs were gone. Here's my first test. Baseline ECG shows sinus rhythm with a right bundle branch block, compatible with the right bundle branch block. Second stress echo, I'm going to zoom in right there. Right bundle branch block no longer present. And then I got this from the cardiologist. Hey, report looks great. No issues noted. How huge do you think that was for me to find that out and my family? It was very huge. This was my hair when I first started. This was at my 70th birthday in July. Um, you be the judge. My hair started turning brown from back to front. This brings me to this slide, and I saw it when I was preparing for a talk I was doing down in St. George at the Energy Healing Conference. And it really kind of describes how the patches work. You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself. So I hope you learned tonight that you have the power inside of you. You just got to reflect it back into you with one of the patches, and then it turns on a different beneficial pathway in your body. This is what the patches do. That's what they're designed to do. I know what I want to be when I get older. I want to be younger. So I have this. You can, turn your camera on if you want. You can hover over these, and you can get more information about how to reverse aging or the reverse aging power of epitalin. This will be on the recording. If you're going to the convention and want to sign book without having to pay for shipping, please send an email to drjharmon@gmail.com and you can reserve one or both of the books. I will be arriving on the 15th in the afternoon. I've had some books shipped to the hotel, and you can reserve them by emailing me at that email. And now, go get patched.
I love it. I love it, Dr. Harmon. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, everyone. I don't know if you'll have a chance to look at the comments, but they are just love your humor, love your information that you have shared, and the presentation is just always entertaining and so educational, informational. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us again.
My pleasure, Dr. Stacy. Thank you.
Both books are available on Amazon, like Dr. Harmon said. If you are coming to conference, then make sure that you email him that you want these books if you want him to bring them. Okay. And
Well, also, Dr. Stacy, the ones at the convention will be signed.
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, they're going to
They're
be
not
signed.
on Amazon. They're not.
No, they're not signed on Amazon, but they will be signed if you're at convention. So thank you
Right.
so much. Your books are so incredible, such amazing information that you've compiled all of this research and taken the time to put it into these very easy to read books for all of us to be able to educate ourselves. Like you said, if someone has a question, refer to the book, right? You don't have
Yeah,
to be the scientist or the researcher.
it kind of takes the onus off of you and the company when you can say, hey, it's not, we don't
Yeah.
say the patch does that. It doesn't cure heart disease. It
Right.
elevates GHK. Well, what does that do? There you go.
Exactly. And so happy for your success with the patches. That is literally life changing for you and your 9, 10-ish children
I
and
kind of forgot.
and
No, it's 10,
26
10,
grandchildren.
26. Tomorrow night, I have a challenge out to all of my grandkids. If they can beat me in chess, because I love playing chess, they get $100.
Ooh.
So one of them studied for a year online, and that little turkey beat me. And I had $100 in my wallet, and I took it out and I just handed it to him. It was like his happiest day of his life. So little Carson um, says he's ready to challenge me. So that goes down tomorrow night. I'll let you know.
Wow, you'll have to let me know. We should bring a chessboard to Dallas. Trey loves
Oh,
to
heck
play.
yeah. Oh, heck
Trey
yeah. I
loves
love
it.
to
He's
play.
all online and in person, all the stuff. So you guys
Oh, is he really?
oh,
Oh, that's
oh yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did all the way, almost all the way home, because I couldn't sleep on the plane coming home from the
Greece.
the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I played chess almost all the time.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again, Dr. Harmon, for being here. We are so appreciative of you and your time and your information and the value that you're adding to the field. So please get back with the person that invited you. They will be happy to help you answer any other questions. Of course, help you get set up with the patches if you are a guest. And we look forward to seeing you all, for those of you that are coming to convention in Dallas in a couple weeks. And we look forward to seeing you on a Zoom again soon. Dr. Harmon, last words?
Yeah, there was somebody asking a question. The email is dr initial J Harmon at gmail.com. Dr. J Harmon at gmail.com.
Thank you.
And if you email that to somebody, that asked me to put the QR codes back up, but if you email me, then I can send you that you can do that.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a fantastic evening.